Hey guys, hoping all is well with everyone. So in this video we're going to be continuing the read-along of the Crime Traveler's Adventure Series, Book 1, Brainwashed by Aertker. And we're going to be starting today with Chapter 11, and as always, please feel free to follow along. And I'll be showing you any pictures if we do come across any, but so far we haven't, but let's go ahead and jump into it. Chapter 11, Who is Watching Whom? With the memory of the fight swirling in his head, Lucas felt like everything had just become extremely important. He began to wonder if even the smallest clue might have some great meaning. His internal GPS enabled itself, and Lucas began to catalog everything he could see, smell, or hear. Spread out in front of Lucas and Astrid was a wide cobblestone street filled with tiny cars zipping around like bugs on water. The air smelled of diesel fuel and fresh bread. Across the street, metal scaffolding covered a building where workers were whitewashing walls. Mist and dust showered the street. On the sidewalk, cafes were packed with people sitting in chairs, reading and talking and drinking coffee. A black bus with tinted windows barreled through the traffic. Lucas noticed that the safety hatch on the roof was broken. Two white vans with no side windows followed the bus. Small satellite dishes shaped like a human ear and an eyeball slowly spun on top of each van. In French and in English, the logo and tagline on the signs of the vans said it all. Good company images, watching and listening so you don't have to. Lucas's eyes followed the bus and vans down the street until he lost them in the traffic circle. Next to this roundabout there was a Ferris wheel, some carnival-type booths, and a guillotine. Weird, Lucas muttered as he looked up. Directly above his head a security camera scanned the street. Astrid seemed to be eyeing something completely different. She almost looked dreamy. Paris, she said as if on vacation. I love it already. Across the street, clustered together, were the biggest names in French fashion. Chanel, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Yves Saint Laurent, and Givenchy. Astrid stepped farther onto the sidewalk, nearly putting her foot in water that was flowing along the curb. France is so great, she said as if falling in love. There's a whole Chanel store. That's what Mom used to wear. I love that perfume. You're such a girl. I am a girl. Thank you very much. Astrid turned and read a sign on the door. This is a delivery entrance for the Good Company warehouse, she said. You're the one with a map of Paris in your head. What's the quickest way to Miss Guenerro's hotel? In his mind, Lucas brought up a map of Paris. It's all the way on the other side of this block. He paused, then pointed. Go ahead 500 meters toward the Ferris wheel. At those white booths, turn east. Left. That street should be Rue de Rivoli. Astrid marched ahead of Lucas and down the sidewalk. Hey, Astrid, asked Lucas as he caught up. What did that Yukua kid mean by, you will never remember? I don't know. She shook her head. Dad says your mind never really forgets anything. Yukua sure did make Herve mad, he said. You think Herve would have really stabbed him? Like, really killed him? I don't know, she said. I thought there was something about Herve that... You're not going to say cute, are you? Lucas scrunched his nose. I was going to say, said Astrid, sweet and sad at the same time. A double-crosser is not sweet. He's helping us, Astrid said. And no, I didn't read that. I just get it. I have a sense about him too, Lucas said defensively. Just because my feeling is different from yours doesn't mean it's wrong. We'll test your theory, said Astrid. Here he comes now. Herve was hobbling quickly down the sidewalk. The French boy raised his cane. Wait, he called out. Whatever, said Lucas, crinkling an eyebrow. I'd rather go ride that Ferris wheel than deal with him. You act like such a 13-year-old, said Astrid. I am a... Lucas stalled for a second. Wait, I am 14. Today's my birthday. I completely forgot, Astrid swallowed. It is. Wow, this is kind of weird. Paris on your 14th birthday while tracking a kidnapping ring. She cringed. That's different. Yep, we're having a party when we get back, she said. Just don't get kidnapped. Uh-huh. Happy birthday, she said. Honest. Thanks, said Lucas. He knew Astrid had a nice side. It just took her forever to get there. They stopped for a second in front of a bakery to wait for Herve. Lucas watched the Ferris wheel and calculated the wheel's fractional revolutions per second. He kept getting distracted by a boy who was flapping his arms in front of the guillotine, the famous head chopper offer from the French Revolution. The mini exhibit was a cardboard replica, and it seemed completely out of place, like a bad Halloween display. Astrid shook her head at Lucas. We are not doing that, even if it is your birthday. Herve panted as he finally caught up with Lucas and Astrid. Have you waved to the camera? What camera? Lucas said. The security camera, said Herve. You mean, said Astrid, the security camera that Travis hacked into? Lucas opened his eyes wide. I don't think you're supposed to be talking about that. Herve's with us, Lucas. But of course, the French boy pointed across the street. See that camera on the ministry building? Look at it and wave so that those watching you know you are arrived. Astrid waved at the camera and slapped Lucas for not waving. Lucas raised a reluctant hand toward the camera and noticed that Herve Pavifonis was on the move toward the guillotine. The smell of chocolate was too tempting. Lucas's eyes drifted to the cakes and pies in the bakery window. He even thought about buying something to eat while the money he had borrowed from his father's change bowl. We just ate in the shipping container, said Astrid. You must have worms. I don't have worms, said Lucas. I like sweet things. You're always trying to get out of doing everything. Lucas lowered his voice. Herve is annoying me. I think you're wrong about him. Lucas explained his point of view. Herve knew those Kurukians by name. And wave at that camera? What does that mean? I don't believe this guy, Astrid. I mean, come on. The Kurukians just so happened to pass in front of our shipping container, and then all of a sudden Herve shows up? You're worrying, she said. The Orangina code was sent to all new resistance agents in Paris. It's part of a plan. There is such a thing as a double agent. Lucas's face tightened. I bet he's not telling us something. Mon ami, my friend. Why the worry face? Herve said, rejoining them. France is not a dangerous place. Guillotine! Guillotine, boy screeched as he let the cardboard blade drop. He cried out, Marie Antoinette, Simon says. The guillotine is not dangerous, Lucas said. Well, said Herve. Guillotine boy yelled into the street. The blade is cardboard, he said in a bad fake French accent. So you get the sensation of whack without the blood. This is awful, said Astrid. Don't let Kerala see this. Lucas all of a sudden recognized Guillotine Boy as the poodle thief in the video they had seen on the plane. Before he could explain it to Astrid, she was already showing Herve a handwritten sign on the wall. It read, Carnival tomorrow night at the Eiffel Tower. Free admission. For Lucas, there was just too many coincidences, like it had all been staged. Maybe, he thought, everything has been staged. Which way? Astrid said to Lucas. Excuse me. We need to get to the good hotel and see what Miss Guenerro is up to. Lucas now led his sister through crowded city streets toward the front entrance of the Good Hotel Paris. He walked fast, hoping to lose Herve along the way, but at the next corner he stopped cold. His jaw dropped as he pointed toward the horizon. The most famous man-made structure in the world towered above the Parisian skyline, the Eiffel Tower. They gawked at the sight for what seemed like a very long time. Herve caught up with them, and Lucas was immediately on the move again. He was determined to shake the French kid until he knew what Herve was really about. Around another corner, Lucas walked as fast as he could through the thick summer crowd. They zipped past a line of parked cars and ran smack into a wall of people. Shoppers, tourists, Parisians and Londoners, Arabs and Thais. An ambulance made it seem even more chaotic as its siren screeched down the street. Then the strangest thing happened. At the Café Labrie, a boy with thin arms appeared almost out of nowhere. He seemed nervous, wiggling his thin peach fuzz mustache as if he had a nose itch. From behind his back, he pulled an orange and offered it to Astrid. Lucas cut a sharp eye to his sister. They kept moving without paying the boy any attention. It really didn't make sense. Something was up. "Okay, that's a little weird," she said. "How did that kid get the code?" "The almost correct code," Lucas said. "I'm already ready to get to the safe house and find out what's really going on." "I think we've lost Herve," said Lucas as he sped up his walk, "but let's keep going." Astrid followed Lucas as he weaved along the crowded street sidewalk, past an African couple looking at diamonds, and under a ladder on Rue de l'Echelle. Lucas wiggled around the crowd and stood across the street from the front entrance of the Good Hotel Paris. Then he spotted her. Siba Guenerro. She was dressed like Hollywood royalty in black cat-eye sunglasses and a long white gown that sparkled with sequins. Walking next to her, a poodle dressed with tufts of fluffy pink fur on its legs and tail pulled on its leash. Miss Guenerro rose with purpose up the steps of her Good Hotel Paris. On her hip, she held Jeannie. Lucas didn't even look for traffic as he started to run across the street to get Jeannie. Astrid screamed and grabbed his arm just before he stepped in front of a taxi. Back on the curb, Lucas felt a deep headache. Nothing ever really made sense to him. Like, how could Miss Guenerro, some supposedly wicked CEO, have Jeannie, who had just been on a white bird one? From the top step of the Good Hotel Paris, Siba Guenerro, president of the Good Company, turned and spoke to a large crowd of international reporters. Correspondents clamored to get questions in, and paparazzi raised cameras above the crowd, taking rapid-fire pictures. In the middle of the group, Lucas spotted Jackknife. Within seconds, he and Astrid crossed the street and mingled with a clump of reporters, right next to Jackknife. "The news is just dreadful," said Ms. Guenerro, her chin tightly slightly upward. "Tourists killed at the Eiffel Tower. I am appalled. It is a tragedy. I do know, however, that the Good Company been guarding the tower. This would have never happened. The Good Company no longer had a contract to guard the Eiffel of an icon. Blame the French government for breaking a deal with us and thus endangering tourists." Journalists blasted Ms. Guenerro with a barrage of questions. "Madame Guenerro, is the baby yours or from one of your good orphanages? What is the forecast for company profits? What is the fate of the Good Carnival charity event that you have planned at the Eiffel Tower? What?" "Everyone knows that I love children, especially babies," said Miss Guenerro with the authority of a detention principal. She spoke sternly as she clicked through the questions. "This wonderful child will be our first child at the favorite new charity, the brand new Good Orphanage Paris. Second question, the forecast for profits is good," she chuckled. "Very good. Third, our Good Bus keeps helping kids all over the world, and our charity event at the Eiffel Tower is on as planned. You're all invited. And do not be worried. It will be safe. Mr. Magnus and Good Company Security will provide top-shelf security for the event. No French police will be necessary." "Madame Guenerro," a reporter called from the back of the throng, "can you speak to the allegations that your company uses child labor?" "Always one of you in the crowd," she said smugly. "Same answer as last time. Preposterous. We're called the Good Company for a reason. We do all things good." Miss Guenerro stared at Jeannie proudly. Lucas couldn't believe this person. "Let me add, from the bottom of my heart," she paused, "the most dreadful thing in our world is a bored child, which is why we take kids, disadvantaged children, and educate them at our good schools. This way they can become productive members of our company, of our society." Another reporter asked a question about nuclear waste, but Miss Guenerro had already turned to enter the hotel. At the top step, she turned back and faced the crowd one more time and gave a glitzy smile. The cameras went crazy, which aggravated Lucas even more. Miss Guenerro walked her through the revolving doors and into the hotel. The porters, dressed in red coats and top hats, locked arms and blocked the group of reporters from entering the hotel. Lucas, Astrid, and Jackknife wiggled past the reporters and paparazzi, completely unnoticed, and shot up the carpeted flight of stairs. The pads at the bottoms of the golden revolving glass doors rubbed the ground as they spun around in slow automated circles. The kids stepped inside the lobby of the fancy hotel. What they saw was beautiful. What they heard was horrendous. And I'll stop the video there, ending chapter 11. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and our continuation of the Crime Traveler's Adventure Series Book 1 will be continuing our next video with chapter 12. And as always, guys, please take good care of yourselves and stay safe. And thank you again so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Take good care.